A long time ago, the kingdom of Hyrule stood high and mighty. It was the one kingdom that ruled all. With an iron fist, they crushed any foe that stood in their way. No one was able to bring down this mighty empire. But then, the ultimate evil rose up and destroyed everything it was able to touch, including the most impressive fortress ever seen in Hylian history. The Akkala Citadel, a building made of stone and wood that no army could topple, until Calamity Ganon attacked with his forces. It was the Hylian army's last stand as the kingdom crumbled around them and the king died, and this is the story of the brave men who held the last line. The Kingdom of Hyrule was ready for the return of Calamity Ganon, preparing a mighty army enhanced by powerful machines to take down the ancient evil. But then, something happened that nobody expected. The machines, known as Guardians and Divine Beasts, turned against their master thanks to the dark magic of Ganon. And so, in an instant, the battle was in favor of the evil that they were trying to defeat, and they had no chance. Hyrule Castle Town was absolutely destroyed, and many other settlements that were close by were also in ruins. And so the remnants of the Hylian army had to fall back to the last fortress, Akkala Citadel. The men who defended the Akkala Citadel were outnumbered, but they were dedicated to make their last stand. They were well defended by their soldiers' armor, which they praised for its superior defense. It was made from sturdy plates of metal, and the high level of craftsmanship that went into it is obvious with just a glance. Now, when it comes to weaponry, they wielded the Knight's gear set, giving them the option of wielding swords, halberds, claymores, shields, and bows. And then, they also had mighty cannons with an effective range of 500 yards and enough power to break through everything. Aside from that, the fortress also had many natural defenses that helped them during this battle. They had the high ground, and you can only enter the fortress by using one of the two routes, which could act as choke points, allowing them to focus their fire on those spots. But, even though they had some major advantages, they had no chance against the forces they were facing. Thousands of bokoblins, moblins, and guardians attacked them, and especially the guardians were a problem. Because certain models are able to fly, almost all types can scale walls, their lasers are just as powerful as the Hylian cannons, and most weapons cannot pierce their outer hull. And so, when they finally came for the soldiers held up in Akkala Citadel, it was chaos right away. The enemy forces stormed the castle by coming up from the lower levels at the Tauren wetlands and South Akkala plains, as well as making their way from Hyrule Field to the castle by crossing the Akkala span. As soon as they got close enough, the Hylian soldiers started firing at them with their mighty cannons and bows, doing their best to keep them at bay for as long as they could. But in no time, all the smaller outposts on the outer edges were conquered and wiped out, and they went right for the heart. They stormed the main bridge that leads directly to the front gate, and it was completely overrun. The place was filled with guardians, moblins, and other disgusting beings that tried to break through the gate. And so, in a desperate attempt, they decided to destroy the bridge to focus most of the enemy forces one way, allowing them to focus all their power on one section while trying to keep any climbers away as well. But it was still an uphill battle for the Hylians, even though they had the high ground. With the bridge destroyed, the enemy forces either climbed up the walls or went around to the right on the side of the fortress. Now at this point, cannon fire was only useful to keep new enemies away, because everyone else was out of reach. But as time went on, more and more cannons were taken out by guardian lasers, and so getting rid of those mechanical beasts became nearly impossible. And so the situation became more and more dire. While the Hylians could deal with the moblins and bokoblins, they weren't able to defeat the guardians. This was their biggest problem. Most of their weapons weren't effective enough. They couldn't even pierce the hull of a guardian most of the time. And so time was running out quickly. At this point, almost every place around Akkala Citadel was in ruins, and this also goes for the people in the Tauren wetlands. The marsh was peppered with guardians active and broken, with all the people living down there being dead, and their houses as well as shops in ruins. The mighty fortress on top of the hill was supposed to defend them from almost anything, but in the end, they failed. Now at this point, Akkala Citadel was falling apart, and enemy forces had made their way up the side of the fortress. Many of the Hylian soldiers were dead at this point, and everyone knew that the fight was basically over. However, the men that were still left fought to the end to save their own honor. But in the end, they truly never, ever stood a chance. And so, Akkala Citadel fell, and its ruins still stand. You can see broken and active guardians everywhere, and some of these broken machines even have weapons and arrows still stuck inside of them. When you come here, you can see the horrors of this last battle, the one that sealed Hyrule's ultimate fate. Now in the end, the kingdom wasn't able to recover from this, and the attacks only stopped because Zelda was able to stop Calamity Ganon herself. But regardless of that, the monsters still roam the land, and Akkala Citadel is completely infested. And so today, all we can do is remember the soldiers who made their honorable last stand and sacrificed themselves to allow others to live. Thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this little recreation, history documentary type thing. I had the idea for like some sort of timer to doom, you know, like a countdown timer to the moment of doom. And I thought Akkala Citadel was perfect for it. So let me know what you think about it. Be sure to subscribe, click the bell button, like, all that good stuff. These videos take a lot of effort, so please show some love and support, because me and Kotlol, the editor, really appreciate it.